The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntex Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, Spa05.com and Fitzner Performance Gearboxes. Welcome to the 2014 Supercar Challenge, the GT Touring Car and Sports Car Championship. The opening rounds at Zandvoort, the legendary track that nestles in the dunes on the Dutch coast. And in today's show, we'll take a look at the Super GT, GT and GTB classes. The cars are on the grid ready for race 2 of the weekend, but first let's take a look at some of the cars in this Super GT class. The Prosperia Abt Racing Team, that's team owner Slobodan Krejcievic. He drives with the young Audi junior Fabian Hamprecht. The 19-year-old German set pole for both races in their Audi R8. The team won the German ADAC GT Championship last season, so despite being brand new to Supercar Challenge, they've got to be regarded as title hopefuls. The Dutch Davitec team has entered 2 Volvo S60 V8 silhouettes for Kelvin Snooks and Henry Zumbrink. Henry was a favourite for the Super GT title last year, but all sorts of problems with the Volvo saw him end up 3rd in the title race by the end of the season. Last year didn't start too well, says Henry, with a brand new car. We had to do a lot of development through the season. This year we have a new chance to do well. We've updated the car. It's got the 2014 model nose. As we're a Volvo dealer, we have to keep up with the road cars. In the other Volvo, ex-single-seater ace Kelvin Snooks, the 26-year-old aiming high this season.
Ja, ik verwacht echt te gaan winnen. Zeker weten. Je moet je hoofd vooral cool houden.
I expect to win for certain. Very important though to keep a cool head. The races are long. You're always going to be dealing with traffic. So you have to be careful, not take any risks. Before you know it, you're in a collision with another car and your race is over. So you've got to pay attention and hopefully everything will be fine. There will be strong Italian opposition as well. Bob Herber and Martin Lanting have again entered a Ferrari 458 run by Martino Rosso Racing with AF Corsa, and their expectations are high.
Ja, absoluut.
Well, most of the competition is new to me, says Martin Lanting, but there are plenty of familiar names. Not quite sure how the races are going to go, but already in qualifying we've showed that we've got the pace to be right with the rivals, so hopefully everything will be very exciting. Well, as well as the already established racing brands, the Supercar Challenge has always attracted new developments, like the very special Vicora V8. Essentially, it's a Dodge Viper with the nose of an Aston Martin. Niels Bohaus will be joined in the car by ex-Porsche ace Rennie Weinen. And they are powered by a massive American muscle car engine. Well, the Vicora might look a bit like a Viper, but one that looks exactly like a Viper comes from Team Racart, as it's the first SRT Viper GT3R in Europe. Roger Graals and former Viper driver Arjen van der Swan are the team, but they know they've got a lot of work to do, starting from scratch.
Het is inderdaad een primeur uit Amerika.
Well, it's the first one to arrive from the States, so we're still trying to find a good setup with the car. There are various little problems which we've still got to attend to, but it's pretty complex on all sorts of levels, so it's hard work and we'll have to be patient.
We zijn nog bezig met de afstelling aan het vinden.
We're still looking for the right setup, says Arjen. We've got absolutely no data from anyone else because it's the very first car in Europe, so everything is new and we need to work out everything from a clean sheet of paper. At the moment we've got a lot of power and we can't yet put it all on the road. They're finding more speed with each track session, but there's still a lot of work to do. Coming up, the second race of the weekend, but first let's take a quick look at the start of the first encounter. Having started third, Kelvin Snooks took the lead in his Volvo, just to the right of Henry Zumbrink here. Well, that put him on the inside line through the big corner at Tarzan, on the curbs and losing traction, eventually snapping into the barriers. Massive damage to the Volvo, his race over after just one corner.
Ik lag aan de leiding van de
Well, I had the lead going into the first corner, and that was pretty much the way I'd planned it, but I wasn't really sure about the tyres, said Kelvin, which I used for qualifying as well. I just didn't have a feeling with them. The car's so tricky on the edge with so much horsepower, when something doesn't work right from the start, then it's going to go wrong, and that's what happened. I was afraid this would happen, it would be a tough race, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon. Well, he almost took out his teammate as well, but Henry Zumbrink survived that scare to go on and win race 1, and although Kelvin's Volvo is wrecked, the team does have a spare, a Corvette.
Ja, gelukkig wel. De jongens hebben keihard
the boys have worked really hard to get the new car ready, said Kelvin, because it just wasn't quite ready to race, so I'm really happy to have another chance to run today, to score some points hopefully. The only downside is I've never driven this car before, so that's going to be very hard for the first few laps. I'm sure it'll be okay though. Here we go then, ready for race 2. 50-minute encounter, dry track, 19 degrees of temperature. Niels Bohaus starting the new Vicora in 4th place. Pole position is Fabian Hambrecht, the young German in the red and white Audi. Henry Zumbrink's blue and yellow Volvo, the first race winner alongside. Bob Herber 3rd in his Ferrari, just to our right. Getting ready for the lights to change, closing up behind the front row men. Kelvin Snooks right at the very back in his brand new to him Corvette. Lights are off, away we go, and on the right, watch the Ferrari, the red car Bob Herber, now on the left of your screen. He's gone past the front row men, the Volvo challenging him under braking. Big lock up from the green Vicora. It's Herber's Ferrari that leads the Audi, slots through into 2nd. There's Henry Zumbrink, the Volvo, the blue and yellow car, in 3rd place ahead of us as we ride in the new Vicora. And Henry keeping it on the island, unlike teammate Kelvin Snooks yesterday. Right behind the green car is the black Radical Extreme. That's the new car of GT class leader Pim van Reert. And behind him, 5th in Super GT, Peter Hovenaars, the red and white car. That's the old style Viper. Leader in the GTB class, the Martini coloured Porsche of Dan Meyer, just there. Well, let's take a look again at that start, this time from the viewpoint of Bob Herber. The Audi pacing the field right in front. Holding the pace, and look at the Ferrari's response. The Audi's got better grip, better downforce, but the Ferrari really launched fast early on, and the Audi down the inside into Tarzan, using the inside line to hang on to 2nd place behind the Ferrari. A stunning start from Bob Herber. He'll be looking to hand the car over in the pit stops to teammate Martin Lanting, still with the advantage ahead of the Audi duo. Well, the battle is on for the lead of the race. Bob Herber in the Ferrari ahead of Fabian Hambrecht, a young German in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra, the latest GT3 version of the Audi R8 sports car concept. This is a great battle of equals. These cars race together at all sorts of different championship levels. On board with Niels Bohaus, look at the big sequential shifter. Gets it a little bit in too deep at the S-chicane. Just locking up the rear, spinning it round. So much horsepower with this car. And now right behind him, Peter Hovenaars looking for 4th place. Once more looking back from Bob Herber. There is Fabian Hambrecht, right up behind his rival. Well, Herber more experience with this car in this championship, but Hambrecht knows his Audi well. Last year's ADAC GT champions in that car. This is a great battle between the speed of the Ferrari and the grip of the Audi. Oh, and Herber's gone in a little too deep, and through goes the Audi, maximising the grip, change for the lead. But there are still 25 laps to go. Lots of time for things to change here at Zandvoort.
Gisteren was me opgevallen dat de eerste 3 ronden onze auto iets sneller is.
Yesterday I noticed our car was a bit faster for the first 3 laps, said Bob, so I thought I'd take a chance at the start. And it worked well. I managed to get the lead. The only downside is our car has less downforce than the Audi GT3. So in the faster corners, Vodafone, Schevelach, the Audi's much quicker, so I really needed the straight line speed to stay in front. I wasn't fast enough to keep the lead though, but still, good race. Henry Zumbrink driving alone and all on his own in the 3rd place Volvo. Winner of race 1, of course. Battle for 4th place little bit more active. The Vicora, the green car, the Viper with the Aston nose. Niels Bohaus holding off the all-Viper of Peter Huvenaars. Oh, and that's Kelvin Snooks. Started 21st place. This the backup car from the team. First time he's ever driven the Corvette. And it looks like he's run out of brakes. A massive lock up there at Tarzan, buried deep in the gravel. And after retiring on the first corner yesterday, a 0-0 weekend. What a disaster for Kelvin Snooks. Fabian Hamprecht coming in for his mandatory stop midway through the race, pitting the Audi from the lead.
Had the chance to pull away from the cars in the start. I had no chance, unfortunately. On top speed, we were kind of behind, but luckily I made it past the third car fairly quickly and then past the Ferrari on my third lap, I think, and then had the opportunity to pull away. I think we had a pretty big gap after a couple of laps after I finished. Get into the pit now, just looking what my co-driver is going to do. It looks to be okay, hoping for a podium finish, but never be sure.
A wise head on young shoulders, urging teammate Slobodan Krejcievic to go faster. He's still leading, but Martin Lanting in the Ferrari started by Bob Herbert is gaining slowly, and he has finally run down the Audi. So the battle for the lead is rejoined. Martin Lanting right behind, familiar with this 458, of course, raced it last year with Bob Herbert. Passing down the inside on the Skyflak, braking for the Masters corner. Great pass for the lead, and just in time Peter Huvenaars has crashed and ended up in the gravel trap, and this might bring a safety car. We're on board with Huvenaars. And just losing it over the brow, onto the grass, and a passenger from there on in, scrubbing off speed in the gravel trap and switching it all off and bailing out fast. Well, just as a precaution, because of the speed of the accident, he was taken off to the medical centre to be examined, but everything fine with him. Well, we think the power steering pump broke off. Last year we had the same problem a couple of times, and it looks like it's a weak spot in the car. We've had to change it a few times. At the beginning of this week we also had the same problem. Now I think it exploded during the race just before getting Skyflak. There was nothing I could do. I hit the barrier. The Zandvoort medical crew did a great job looking after me, so thanks to them. But now we've got to see what we can do for the next race. For now though, I'm done with this car. Well, because of the severity of the accident and to allow the rescue crews to get to Peter Huvenaars, the safety car was scrambled, and indeed the race finished under yellow, with Martin Lanting as the leader in the Ferrari. And that means he and Bob Herbert claim their first ever race win in the 458 GT2. The Italians from AF Corsa and the Dutchmen from Martino Rosso look pretty happy with that result, as well they should.
We had
to overcome all sorts of problems with the noise restrictions here at Zandvoort, said Martin Lanting. Winning on what I consider to be my home track makes the flowers extra pretty and the trophies even shinier. So we're very happy. Audi drivers Krejcievic and Hamprecht aren't registered for the championship, so their second spot doesn't count for the points. Tom Brink in third place then gets second points, and he takes the lead of the championship with effectively a win and a second place, as well as pole effectively for both races. So stay with us from Zandvoort. Coming up next, the GTB and GT divisions. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntex Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, Spa05.com and Fitzner Performance Gearboxes. Welcome back to Zandvoort in the Netherlands for round one of the Supercar Challenge. Before the break we looked at the Super GT divisions. Now it's time to catch up with GT and GTB. In GTB, Patrick Lamster and Mark Nyens are back to defend their title with their Porsche, but the champions are struggling to find the right setup on the brand new Pirelli Control tyres. Dan Meyer enjoys better fortunes in a Lamertink Porsche, winning the first race of the season. There's a new entry from Davitec in the GTB class, the Gulf liveried Chevrolet Corvette C6, driven by Ferdinand Kuhl, new to the Supercar Challenge.
Yeah, Supercar Challenge.
Yes, he says, the Supercar Challenge. The organisers have really made this into a great championship despite the economic crisis. The starting grid is really impressive. I wanted to carry on working with Davitec, and when they joined the Supercar Challenge, I followed them. And he's co-driven by 16-year-old Max Kobold.
Ja, dat zag ik ook.
Yeah, I just heard that a few minutes ago, he jokes. Now, Max is a very talented driver. He's got a great karting background. Stepping into a car like this, though, is a big step. I've driven this car a lot, so I'm familiar with it. But he's doing a great job. Yesterday, he was just a second slower than me. That's very impressive, and I'm sure will be a good combination. So the 2012 Dutch GT champion is keen to win the Supercar Challenge. Now, before we take a look at race 2, here's a remarkable moment in race 1. Patrick Lamster loses the door on his Porsche, which cartwheels through the track before it intercepts the unfortunate Marcel van Berlo. He gets the debris stuck in the radiator of his Porsche, continues but later has to drop out with a broken rad. Ready for the start of race 2, on board with Dan Meyer. Third on the grid, Tom Webb on the right-hand side. Pole sitter for both races. Oh, and he doesn't react well to the lights. There goes the Gulf Corvette, that's Ferdinand Kuhl. But Dan Meyer gets by him as well, up to first place in the class. The bigger Super GT car's right in front. Into Tarzan, Dan Meyer on the inside in the Martini-coloured Porsche. Already in front of some of the GT cars. In the quicker class, Super GT's in front of him. He has a comfortable lead. There he is, in front of a GT class Ferrari. Martini colours always look good on a Porsche, don't they? Battle for third place, Mark Nyens in the Porsche. Tom Webb in the BMW, our pole sitter, of course. He's in fourth at the moment, looking to make a move around the Arie Luyendyk box. Can't quite get close on the outside, but takes the inside line. And that's a good pass as he comes onto the start-finish straight. Ferdinand Kuhl in the Gulf Corvette already up into second place. The battle continues for third. Hangs on to the position going into Tarzan. In fact, he'll stay third until the pit stop windows. And then the Gulf Corvette will take the lead because of having a shorter pit stop than Dan Meyer. But with just a few laps to go until the checkered flag, drama for Max Kobold. The Corvette grinding to a halt, and he brings it into the pit lane. He's saying, I've got no power, and they're saying, you've got to finish. Go on, go on.
Ja, jammer dat het gebeurde. Ik lag...
What a shame, said the teenager. They told me on the radio that I was leading. Till it broke down, everything was going great. I was just doing my laps. Coming out of the S-chicane, lost almost all power. I floored the gas, just wouldn't do more than 100 kilometers an hour. I couldn't get it up into any gear higher than second. Well, the disappointment for the Davitec Corvette team left Dan Meyer in the lead. James Webb, second place in the BMW. Getting down to the closing stages, it's a wheel-to-wheel battle for the race lead. The Porsche just holding on. But the BMW M3 GTR with loads of pace into Galach. Through he goes. And that was that. So in the end, the pole sitters came out on top. The Corvette duo disappointed in sixth. Dan Meyer in second place could have won it as well. But in the end, victory went to James and Tom Webb.
We were just able to catch them at the end. I think before the pace, which we're a David and Goliath race at the moment. We're trying to be fast to the corners and get away from them where they're kind of a bit faster in a straight line and get round us. So I think today we just got lucky. We were really worried about the safety car restart if there was going to be one, because we thought we might get robbed of that last place in the last 100 metres. But in the end, the safety car stayed out and we came in first, so happy about that.
So after Zandvoort, the brothers leading the standings from Dan Meyer, Ferdinand Kool and Max Colbertin third, and British lady Fiona James fourth in her Lamborghini Gallardo. All of which brings us to the GT class, where Stefan Bellingen and Vard Slice have returned to defend their title with their championship-winning car. But the GT class has moved on. The BMW M3 Silhouette is soon to be retired to make way for a brand new M4 project to be debuted at Spa. But for now, they're going to have to earn points with the old beast.
Well,
we're going to try and keep in contact with the competition, says Steve, but in the first race it was impossible. Hopefully it'll be better in the second. We've made modifications to the car to comply to the noise restrictions here at Zandvoort, but hopefully we'll be more competitive at Spa with the new body and some upgrades. Competition for this round at Zandvoort at least comes from Duncan Heisman and Luke Brahms in the Equipe Verschoor Renault Megane Trophy. And from this special entry, the Radical RXC 2.7 V8 driven by Pim van Riet, who set pole for both races and won the first encounter. And there's a Belgian entry too. Curbstone FMA have brought this Ferrari 458 GT3 for Patrick van Klabbeke and Frederik Jonker. So race 2 at Zandvoort, and the Black Radical, third row back on pole in the class. On the grass though, that is Duncan Heisman passing Frederik Jonker in the Ferrari. Red Viper Craig Wilkins cuts him off, and that leaves the Radical Extreme Pim van Riet, the black car, fifth place on the road, leading the GT class. This is the ideal playground for the Radical. Doesn't enjoy the lead for long though, his engine blows on lap 3, leaving a smoky haze everywhere. Bad luck too for Luke Brahms, who took over the Megane during a pit stop, coming in with a puncture. And that means as their rivals fall by the wayside, it's a cruise to victory for Patrick van Klabbeke, and he brings the Ferrari 458 GT3 home in first place in the GT class. So the Ferrari on top ahead of Craig Wilkins in the Dodge Viper, defending champions Stefan Bellingen and Vard Slice in third position. Wilkins so enjoyed the championship last year, he's returned with the Viper and could well be a contender. But for our first time entrants from Belgium, major success. Top step at the podium for Frederik Jonker and Patrick van Klabbeke.
It was
pretty uncertain what the weather was going to do, says Patrick. Wet, dry, but we had a strategy and that worked out well. So we're very happy with the result. Well, that's it from Zandvoort and the GT divisions. Next time we return with the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli, we'll bring you the action from the Supersport and Sport divisions. See you then. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntex Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, Spa05.com and Fitzner Performance Gearboxes.